All right, seeing as it is 6 o'clock, we will call this meeting to order. I would like to thank you all for coming here this evening for the welfare budget hearing / meeting. We're going to do our best to get out of here in a relatively short period of time, hopefully under an hour. So I would like to apologize for having it so late in the evening. It's just hard with what some of us do for livings and being able to actually make our council responsibilities work with our day-to-day job. I'd like to introduce myself and my fellow councilors. My name is Nathan Boudreau. I'm the chair of the Public Welfare Committee. This is Councilor Elizabeth Kaczynskis, an at-large councilor and council president, which you all know, and Councilor Dana Heath, who's here with us this evening as well on the Welfare Committee. We will go down in order, I guess just calling upon the department head and allowing them a moment to speak, and then if the councilors have any questions on the line items that pertain to that particular portion of the budget, we can ask at that time. Any questions on anything before we get going? I'd like to thank Colin from the mayor's office for coming this evening in the mayor's stead, and so they can have a seat at the table. So I guess we will begin with planning board. Hi, Trevor.
Thank you for calling up first. I appreciate that.
Trevor did the paper.
So the planning board budget is pretty much level funded this year, same as last, except for the cost of living increase for half of the salary for the conservation village.
Can you explain to Councilor Heath, this is his first year, why there is half of a salary on here?
Yep, so the full salary is funded both through the planning department and conservation commission. And that role basically works part-time for each. So I split up the workload for that position. Half of it does planning board related work and half does conservation. So it's one person, it's a team person.
Okay. All right, any questions? No questions? I'm assuming you're also zoning board of appeals?
Nope.
No? All right.
Nope. Not that lucky.
Perfect. And if you don't have anything else, I appreciate you coming down and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right, zoning board of appeals.
Councilor Bennett, that would be Commissioner Jean. He sends his regrets for not being able to be here himself, but the line item is level funded and it has been so since his time in his position. So,
Any questions on zoning board of appeals? I also have no questions. Commissioner Beauregard. Cable Commission.
Councilors. As you have seen, this past year we've been able to completely upgrade under $7,000 worth of equipment to make everything internal run HD. We still are on Comcast standard definition. I don't know when that's going to change. I keep pushing. I was actually talking to a Comcast person this weekend and they said that no local access station is HD yet. So we'll see if that happens. But we're pushing forward. We're actually also getting ready to hopefully by the end of the summer have the new video on demand service on, so it won't be the one we've been using. The budget total budget is pretty much the same as it's been, short of the longevity account has increased. One of the changes that the mayor and I had talked about when we did make, you'll notice there's $5,000 less in the new equipment budget for next year. We really didn't feel that we were going to need a lot. We do have to buy some new editing computers. And the reason we didn't buy them in this budget is because just as we were getting ready to purchase them, after we waited to make sure the install was done, Apple came out with a brand new computer, and I hate to buy the first run of any computer when we're doing that with technology. But what we did do is, you'll notice we moved it over to the assistant salary account. Matt has taken on more and more responsibility within the department. He acts as the manager when I'm out, overseeing Andrew. And the other part was we almost lost Matt. Matt had another job offer. We could never come close to what he was offered to go. We really didn't want to go, but we said that Mayor and I talked to him, and we came up with moving that $5,000 over to him would be enough to keep him with us in perpetuity. So we're hoping that we'll go back to that. I tried taking that money out of the new equipment, which we don't think we need a lot of, and putting it into my personnel. Last year we boosted our equipment, and this year I thought we should boost our personnel. So.
That was my only question, was the $6,000.
Yep. That was the 2%. That would have been the 2% plus an additional 5 for that. Yes, somewhere around there. Sorry.
I have no other questions, that's what I was only question, so thank you.
I have no questions, but I would like to thank you guys for your hard work over the years. It really goes unnoticed, but if it wasn't happening, like sometimes during the COVID-19 pandemic, people got really upset about it. So you guys do a great job over there, and it's a true advantage for the city to have. So thank you.
We appreciate it.
So regional school districts is next, but the welfare committee, call it 2 months ago, took a trip and a tour to Monty Tech. We were able to ask our questions there, got our answers there. It was a great time, in my opinion. So we don't need to talk about that this evening. The airport.
I don't know if you want. There's no manager, actually. I don't know.
That'd be great, Sean, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Basically, level funding, we actually put in $25,000 for a department head manager. But everything else is basically the same as prior year.
And we can't even advertise that position until what, the new fiscal?
We've actually advertised that position, and we will be having the interviews next week, the mayor's out. So we have a couple candidates selected. Is there another, is the $25,000 a raise or, like, is that a brand new? That's a brand new position, it was added to the compensation schedule a couple of months ago, I believe.
No, pretty cut and dry. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Council on Aging.
Good evening, Chairman Boudreau, President Vincent, and Councilor Heath. Good to see you. And of course, T, always good to see you. Not much to say about this budget. It's pretty much level funded. There are some raises built in. No changes other than minor salary adjustments. I will make a particular note and observation that our one position, the the custodian facilities manager, that amount has changed over the amounts last year, but the position has changed. We are now recognizing that person for the work he does at managing the entire building alone. So there was a position change that went through the personnel committee last year. It's the only real change in our budget of any significance. Welcome any questions or comments you have.
You would say that that position does have enough work, 40 hours a week?
Oh.
In your building,
Yeah.
possibly even not enough?
Yeah, we keep him busy. And I will say, and I'm sure all of my department heads would echo this, the staff I have at the Council on Aging at the Senior Center is exceptional. Worth, every penny we pay them, they work hard and are very dedicated staff. So certainly, Rob earns every penny that we pay him. I'm so appreciative of the effort and dedication that he gives every day to that center. He also works for the pool. Yeah, during the
If he
summer,
covers
yeah.
here and they need help or goes over to the police department and takes care of the cells when rains out, so.
And that's all covered under the salary.
Yeah.
Like the 1/6 current.
He's a jack of all trades, and I'm understating what he does. He's great.
I have no questions. Thank you again for having us a couple months ago. What you guys are doing is great.
I appreciate your support. Thank you.
I'll see you on 30th.
Ready for it?
I'm ready. I'm practicing.
And that wasn't available this
Lynette is on vacation, unfortunately. I can briefly just say that the department had salary items fairly level funded. Veterans benefits are fairly level funded as well.
There's new positions aren't in here.
They do not appear to be.
Yeah,
Where is that?
there's two clerks, on that one, you have two clerks. New clerks for that, that's the 60.
Yeah, it's 65, so they'll probably make it up.
Yeah, exactly. And then on, the other thing is veterans benefits. The only reason why it's going down is basically I guess the claims are going down. So, I mean, if you look at in the years, it goes from 700,000 to 500,000 before 439. So, last year we budgeted 700,000. It was a little high, but we went down $100,000. And that we do get reimbursed from the state.
It's like a year and a half.
About a year. A year right on the nose.
What about the professional services one?
Professional services.
That's with Carolyn.
Professional services.
Do you know what that covers?
It looks like
She has to travel to all of those.
Well, it's the insurance.
it's,
Is that what it is? It's because she has to travel and she's sharing?
I don't know if it's traveling, because it was like, with Phil, he didn't do a lot of traveling.
Lynette took on 5 new communities.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So that she has to go to those
So she has to
communities.
go to the communities, yeah. That's true. And that's why the extra help too, because they're doing 3 other communities.
3 or 4.
I know what it is.
Thank you very much. Disability Commission. Sorry, I couldn't get you this one.
This is basically what we funded every year. It's more for, some minor office supply things. We've got some pamphlets in the past, etc. We have not met since COVID, so that needs to take place. And that's about it. It's about level funded and nothing more than that.
I have no questions. Yeah, we do. The pool wasn't done there. I would also like to thank you for coming to defend the $500. So agree with the pool.
So, we've asked for, a little bit of an increase in the salaries. Obviously, every year, minimum wage goes up. We, as you know, lost Don Lew this year. So we have actually, Rob Cormier went and got his CPO, as well as one of my lifeguards went and got her CPO, so they'll be covering those duties.
Certified pool operator.
Yes, so the person who knows how to run the integrated filtration system and how to mix the magic chemicals to make the pool look as beautiful as it does. So they've already started things, and the pool actually looks amazing. And we'll be opening up after we have a swim meet, and then it's going to open right after the swim meet on the 27th.
What are the hours this year?
Currently, they're 12 to 5. Swim lessons before 12. Obviously, as we have done in the past, if we get a heat wave, we'll expand the hours. We'll open on Sundays. We'll do that kind of stuff.
but I will tell you there is a lifeguard shortage. We've been hearing from a number of different places that we can't even open because they don't have lifeguards. We're fortunate, we've got a good group, and Diana's always fantastic about recruiting, so we're in the process right now of hiring some new lifeguards to backfill for those who graduated from college and gone on to working those wonderful full-time jobs. And not lifeguards, yes. And then the filtration system is something we've encumbered, so we actually made a deposit and it's being built. The new filtration system will be installed after we close for the season.
I have no questions.
I was actually just there yesterday with, the son restaurant, he coaches for me.
Yeah.
And she was saying that it's been really hard to get lifeguards because of the pay rate.
So that's actually, that's built in there, and we've requested more than just a minimum wage bump. So a little bit more, which makes us, a more feasible option. In addition to Diana's a great leader. She does a good, and people like working with her. They learn a lot from her. So we're fortunate to have her.
She's awesome.
Thank you very much. All right, the library. Hi there, how are you?
I'm fine, how are you? Good to see you. So, the most important thing to know about the library budget is we have to meet materials appropriation requirements for the state in order to get our state monies and to be certified so all the patrons and residents of Gardner can borrow materials at other Massachusetts libraries. That figure for this year for us was a minimum of $805,430. So my original budget was submitted for $805,953. So with the mayor's proposed budget, we're fine, it's great. My only concern would be if for some reason COLA raises didn't go through, that together with the $2,000 cut in library supplies, which we can handle with investment monies or our state aid, there's no worries there. But that cut would bring us $1,400 short to be certified. If the raises did go through as expected, everything's great. We're very happy with the budget.
I'm a personal believer that a strong library brings upon a strong community. And I know libraries have a great opportunity to get grant money that a lot of other departments can't receive. Do you know an approximate roundabout figure of how much grant money you receive per year?
I think that last year we received in 2 increments about 27,000 each, so around 54,000. And we use that money, we bank it, and John's office handles all of that. But we use it primarily for the line that's funded for just $100, which is repairs and maintenance, which historically has been viewed as library responsibility because it's a privately owned building, and it just makes sense. So when we true up the accounts at the end of the year, we pay those fees, which last year, it's somewhere, it ranges between 20 and 30,000 a year usually. So between investment monies and that state aid money, it really keeps us above board, and level funding takes care of everything else.
That's awesome. I have no more questions. Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you.
Yeah. My question is again about what you've already explained, so just to make sure that all the records, and thank you for explaining that. I have no questions.
Great. We all love the library. Thank you.
Thank you.
Golf course.
Let's have a meeting there next time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Hopefully,
Actually, another really good year for the golf course. We are forecasting in the next couple of weeks to close out the fiscal year to net probably around $100,000 again. Add that to the surplus that we had of around 373, and you get close to that number of 5. However, we're spending money. Our biggest challenge with our budget is kind of throwing a dart and trying to guess as to how much supplies are going to change. We go through a quantity of supplies: gas, oil, seed, fertilizer. everything I just named, 30, 40, 50, 60% now. So when we forecast, we're totally guessing. Supply chain, supply chain, supply chain. So we make sure we keep that surplus where we want it to be, and don't go too crazy. What we've done the last year is we've gone over in expenses, but that's stuff like roofing, furnaces, asbestos removal, windows, upgrades to basically infrastructure. Stuff that's going to last 20 years that again, we knew we could go over because of what we forecasted in revenue and because we maintained the surplus. So going forward, we're in good standing. We're going to try to spend as much money as we can now to get that infrastructure up to par, and then just start stacking it away because the golf boom will not last forever. So any changes to the budget, it's basically staffing, things like that, but the rest of it is just kind of throwing a guess out there as to how much supplies are going to change.
Would you say you're back to pre-COVID attendance levels?
We're blowing it out of the water. Yeah, I've been here now 13 years. This is my 14th. When I started, our membership was around 350, 400. We're at 750 now. It forced people to try something that they've never done before, and if 75% of them stick, that's pretty good.
COVID was a good time for golf courses. It was one of the only.
That's all you could do.
Yeah.
They took basketball hoops now.
Yeah.
Couldn't play basketball. They said you can play golf, so we're like, come on, get it. So budget-wise, it looks good.
So you're confident in your budget because of the services that you have and you get the same equipment, you get the lessons, or there's some tutorials, things that you have to maintain as having a revenue to now.
Absolutely.
You don't know because it's not.
Yeah, when we didn't have that surplus, we were starting to fall behind on balancing how much money we're putting into old equipment versus how much it's actually worth, paying people to maintain it versus now that we have a couple bucks, go out, buy some new equipment, and now you don't spend the money and time fixing it. So I feel confident.
Have any questions? Great job.
You answered my questions. It was like any changes that I saw, I was like, they're spending money, why are they spending this money? That's why.
Yeah.
So, you're doing it. I gotta get out there.
Yeah, you do.
I got a tournament. I didn't never play golf before. So,
Golf is what you do when you can't do anything else physically.
I still do a couple things. I need to get out there.
Get out there.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you guys. Enjoy.
That brings us to the end of our comprehensive list. So if any of you have any questions for us, we can take them at this time. If not, I will call for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.